Sophia, the girl who overcame a natural disaster. In a peaceful countryside in Tennessee, where mornings are usually greeted with birdsong and the smell of dewy grass, life passed serenely. The small village where Sophia grew up was nestled among vast fields and gentle hills. It was a place she once thought she would stay forever, a safe, warm home surrounded by family and friendly neighbors. But one night, nature was no longer gentle. A fierce tornado suddenly swept through the village. The howling winds tore roofs off houses, and cries echoed in the darkness. Sophia and her family barely managed to rush into the basement shelter, clinging tightly to one another in utter fear. In less than an hour, everything they had cherished, their home of 3 generations, family heirlooms and the young girl's dreams, was swept away without mercy. As the first light of dawn broke through the gray sky, Sophia stepped outside, her bare feet touching the cold, hard ground. Before her lay a scene of devastation. Collapsed houses, uprooted trees, and debris scattered everywhere. There was no bird song, no smiling faces, only the vacant, haunted eyes of her neighbors. A sense of helplessness hung in the air, as if the entire village had been swallowed by the storm. But amidst the chaos, Sophia realized one thing. Her family was still with her. She could still feel the warmth of her mother's hand gripping hers, the encouraging gaze of her father. Though everything else was gone, hope remained. And in that moment, Sophia understood that she couldn't just stand by and wait for help. She had to act, not only to save her family, but also to help her community rise from the ashes. Struggles in the aftermath. The first days after the tornado were incredibly difficult. Sophia and her family stayed at a small relief center in a nearby town. There were no soft beds, no hearty meals, just thin blankets, hastily packed food rations, and an ongoing sense of worry. While many people were still lost in panic and despair, Sophia began asking herself, how can we rise from this? What can I do to change our situation? Sophia refused to let herself drown in despair. With an old notebook salvaged from the rubble, she sat down and began to write a plan. She listed what needed to be done: finding building materials, reaching out to charitable organizations, and learning how to construct a simple house by hand. I don't know if I can do this, but I have to try, she told herself. That determination became her driving force, pushing her forward step by step, even as the path ahead remained unclear. Learning and practicing, building hope step by step. Sophia started spending time at the public library in town, searching for materials on building small homes using recycled materials. Technical books, online tutorials, and stories of people who had overcome adversity became her teachers. She took detailed notes, learning how to design, measure, and use basic tools. One day, while exploring the rubble, Sophia discovered some sturdy wooden beams from her collapsed home. She hauled them back to the relief center and began experimenting with what she had learned. Her hands trembled as she used tools for the first time, but with each failure, she grew more skilled. Every nail she hammered, every wooden plank she joined, brought a growing sense of hope. Fundraising, uniting the community. Sophia knew she couldn't achieve her dream alone. She decided to organize a small fundraiser in the community. Standing in a makeshift schoolyard with hand-drawn sketches of her small home designs, she presented her ideas to the villagers. We can't wait for help forever. We must stand up for ourselves, not just for our families, but for everyone around us, Sophia said earnestly. If we share what we have, be it time, skills, or materials, I believe we can rebuild from what's left. Her speech touched everyone's hearts. An elderly man donated some leftover tarpaulins. A group of young volunteers offered to transport wood. Mothers pooled together their small savings to buy more tools. This small community, once shattered by the storm, was now brought back together by the spirit of solidarity that Sophia ignited, spreading strength from family to community. The first house Sophia built was for her family. It wasn't large, just enough to provide shelter from the elements, but every plank of wood and every nail was a testament to her relentless effort. When it was completed, neighbors gathered to admire the result. Many moved to tears. "We can do this together," Sophia said with a smile. She began teaching others, sharing her knowledge and experience. Slowly, more small houses sprang up, not built by professionals, but by the collective determination and unity of the community. Success, values beyond material recovery. After 6 months, not only Sophia's family, but many other families in the village had a place to call home. These small recycled houses became symbols of resilience and community spirit. Sophia emerged as a role model, not just for her accomplishments, but for inspiring others to believe in their own abilities. Sophia didn't stop there. She continued to learn and connected with larger organizations to bring large-scale reconstruction projects to the village. What began with the hands of one young woman became a flame of hope that illuminated the entire community. Sophia proved that in adversity, people can overcome anything if they refuse to give up and find ways to rise. She rebuilt not only a home, but also faith and unity among her neighbors. A powerful lesson about determination, courage, and the strength of sharing. A reborn village. Spring returned to the small village in Tennessee. The lush green fields began to bloom, and the hills seemed rejuvenated. The village no longer bore the scars of the tornado. Small, charming houses built from recycled materials now dotted the landscape, standing as symbols of resilience. Children played once again on dirt paths, their laughter echoing everywhere. Adults busied themselves with repairing homes and tending gardens. In all these moments, Sophia stood in the heart of the village, her hands roughened by labor, but her eyes shining with pride. She didn't just see her own accomplishments. She felt the love and connection radiating among the people, a meaningful message and life lesson. Sophia taught the village, and anyone who hears her story, a profound lesson. In adversity, we always have two choices: to collapse or to rise and move forward. And it is unity and determination that help us overcome anything. Her story wasn't just about rebuilding homes. It was about restoring faith that even though humans are small compared to the power of nature, they can be incredibly strong. She reminded everyone that when we dare to act and believe in ourselves, miracles can happen. Sophia also inspired people with her example of self-learning and action. From a young girl with no experience, she taught herself and made the impossible possible. This lesson reminds everyone that knowledge doesn't just come from books, but from daily effort and determination.